Hey, everybody, welcome back to Bite Time. Harry McCullough here. It's time to talk a little education, specifically Lafourche Parish Schools with their superintendent, Jarod Martin. Hey, Jarod, thanks for joining us. It's summer, but you don't get a break. I mean,
No,
and this one's probably been more condensed than ever. I hope you had a little time off, but yeah, the school year is right around the corner.
yeah, school year's right around the corner, and my wife and I have both worked in education our entire adult lives, and she worked in the special education building, and frequently her friends would ask her, like, "What do you do in the summer? I mean, the kids are not there. Certainly, it's got to be a break for you." Her answer is the same as my answer. The summertime is probably busier
Right.
than the school year because this is the time that principals and school leaders are making all the plans, getting everything ready for the opening of school. So we're excited, but it's been a very short summer, very busy summer.
Right. And hopefully, again, knock on wood, hopefully we deal with education a little more than construction and rebuilding than we are.
Yeah, nobody wants to go back to
No.
what life was like right after Hurricane Ida.
No, I agree. So let's talk a little bit about that. You did have a summer program, though, that's very exciting and it's gained some momentum. You said you had over 1,000 students over in your
We did.
summer program, just wrapping up, right?
Yeah, we did. So summer programs are wrapping up, and we were excited to have that many kids want to be part of our program and have the trust of the community to have their kids with us. But we try to do as much teaching and
Right.
learning education stuff as possible to keep the kids interested in the program.
Right.
And we still have room for improvement. I think that next year we hope to get even bigger and we hope to have even more programs for our kids to participate in.
Yeah, that's great. This is not summer school, right? This is not kids
is-
catching up.
This is not
just
what
right.
if you close your
Right.
eyes and think of summer school,
Right.
there's a silly 80s movie that I'm thinking of right
Right,
now.
right.
This is not it.
Yeah.
This is kids. The most memorable moment of this summer academy for me, I visited some kids in LaRose, and they were doing races with roly-polies. The actual little,
Right, the little roly-polies,
the little
right.
roly-polies. So they were racing on the plates. They were having a cricket eating endeavor the next day. They had chocolate-covered crickets
Mm-hmm.
and all kind of silly stuff. So they've been doing experiments, and it's fun to see the kids having fun with each other, with their teachers, building rapport,
Right.
and being introduced to next year's content in a way that's just really relaxed.
Right. And let's face it, needs of a community. When you're rebuilding, you're working, you don't have childcare. This helps out a tremendous amount, I'm sure, to where you don't have to have somebody watch them or pay somebody to watch them or that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So, in what we attempt to do is have the kids want to be there, but what we know we're doing is
Right.
providing a place for parents that need a place for their kids to
Yeah.
go to have them there.
Right.
Two working families or a single parent household, when it's summer and school's not in session, certainly that childcare
Sure.
becomes an issue.
Oh, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about getting ready for the school year. So you had almost 100% of your schools were damaged by the storm.
Yeah.
2 needed to be rebuilt. So
Yeah.
how's the construction and all the permitting and all the stuff you have to deal with?
Yeah, so starting in the southernmost part of the parish and working our way up. Golden Meadow Middle School, arguably the second most damaged building right behind South Lafourche High School. We're going to go out to bid in the fall for all of that repair. So we're hoping to get some numbers that frankly we can afford and fall within the scope of what the architects project as the cost, and we'll get rolling on that. But it's going to be another 2 years that Golden Meadow Middle School is not going to be Golden Meadow Middle School. You may recall on previous programs I explained that what we've done with the students at Golden Meadow Middle School is put them all at Golden Meadow Upper Elementary School. So we combined 2 elementary schools, and we've got those middle school students working exclusively out of the upper elementary. So that's Golden Meadow Middle. That project should get started in the winter with an opening of the bids that we're going to go out to in the fall. It took that long for the
I know.
architects just to arrive at what had to happen to build it back, just to give you an idea. Moving north to South Lafourche High School, the roof work is currently being done. We're excited about it, but we found more problems there. So we had some steel structure that's showing some wear, some age, and some damage. So we had to make a change there. So while we were hoping to have the competition gym ready for play for basketball season, that's now being threatened by the steel that has to be replaced as well. So that work is being done, but it's going to be a long road. Another 2 years to get South Lafourche completely repaired. But we have 2 gyms at South Lafourche High School. The auxiliary gym is going to service as the primary gym because we think we'll be able to get that one up soon. Moving north, we've got North Rose Elementary that's got a significant amount of damage. That project should be out to market soon. And La Rose Cutoff Middle School, that roof is currently being repaired. The architect responsible for that is actually Gosson Holloway Cortez. A young man named Justin Cortez is doing a phenomenal job getting that building up and running. That gym will be ready in August. So the construction projects across the parish are just tremendous in volume, right? Tremendous in volume. So good for the economy. But what's amazing is how few businesses are able to bid on these projects because of the amount of work that's out there. The construction company is large enough to do this work. We're competing still with schools in Lake Charles that have to be rebuilt and schools in Terrebonne Parish that are being rebuilt, schools in St. James, St. John, and St. Charles that are being rebuilt. So when the entire region gets hit like we are, one of the challenges that we've gone out to bid for multiple things and had to reject the bid because we only got one bid and it came back at two or three times what we would project it to cost to be.
Which is amazing. And then just finding workers right now, but you're right, finding companies, and then staying within the FEMA structure of everything you have to do. So,
tremendous challenge.
It's amazing. We've kind of joked, but not really. It'd be nice to concentrate on education instead
just once, just 1 year.
You brought up a great part when we were talking on the break. The inflation rate in insurance of doing work in the middle of a hurricane season is one of the big elevated costs for these projects.
Yeah, it's been a huge barrier to get anyone to bid on the jobs and then ultimately win the jobs and then have a price that can be approved by the board. So many of the construction companies are explaining to us that the builder's risk insurance required to do construction in Hurricane Alley during hurricane season has gotten nearly impossible to get, and once secured, extremely expensive. So that cost, of course, gets passed on to the school board, and ultimately the taxpayers of Lafourche Parish are the one having to foot these higher bills associated with higher insurance premiums that the construction companies have to have in order to do the work.
Yeah, that's incredible when you're thinking about it. And that limits the number of people that can bid on these things, which obviously is going to raise the price. You were mentioning that like some companies that are capable of doing the work, but can't raise the bond.
That's right.
So they have to have a partner.
Many of the local contractors have partnered with larger companies so that they can have the bonding capacity to bid on these large projects. But what they're unable to do is find a labor source to actually do the work that they're bidding on. We've been fortunate that we've got a lot of partners, and I'm not going to attempt to name them because I feel terrible if I missed one or two. But we have some local contractors that have done tremendous work for us and continue to do tremendous work for us. But every one of them tells me the same thing. I could hire 200 people tomorrow, and so it's that lack of a labor market right now that's holding us back. And this is not exclusive to Lafourche Parish. It's true in Terrebonne, it's true in St. John, it's true in St. Charles. The construction companies that in this region, there's more work to be done than there are workers to do it.
Right. And we're trying to get our economy up and going, but it's like we could maybe if we had more workers, but in every avenue, it's really an issue. So let's talk about education. And one way to get workers down the road is educate them and get them out into the workforce, right?
But ironically enough, I would tell you that the teaching and learning of our school systems being impacted by the labor shortage as well, because there's a teacher shortage.
Well, not just teachers not working, but teachers retiring. All of that's coming together, and you've got quite a bubble that you have to deal with.
We do. What we have identified is that we need to retain our teachers. We know that, and we need to treat our employees well to make sure that they're happy in their workplace, and we go a long way to accomplish that. But the truth, statistically, is that we're not losing teachers at a rate that is a statistical anomaly. What is the statistical anomaly is the lack of teachers coming into the profession. The colleges of education across Louisiana are down tremendously. The halls of the colleges of education are frankly empty, and so are the classrooms. The result is that people aren't leaving universities as teachers, and The result is we've got a huge teacher shortage, and it's not unique to Lafourche Parish, just like the labor shortage for construction is not unique to Lafourche Parish, but it's having a terrible impact on our ability to service our children.
Do you know why? I mean, is it pay, or is it, they're not getting enough respect in the classroom? Is the work too much? Benefit? I mean, do you know why?
I think compensation always has to be the first thing we look at as a reason why people aren't going into education. I think that there are obviously financial opportunities out there where folks can make a lot more money doing things other than teaching. But I didn't go into teaching to become a wealthy person.
Right.
It was a bit of a calling.
Right.
But you still have to be able to raise a family on it.
Sure.
And when you can't, people are going to go and do other things. And I think that we're seeing a lot of that. In the 70s, teachers, specifically female teachers, when they were leaving the colleges of education, were making more than their female counterparts in other colleges of study, right? So if you have a degree in business versus a degree in education in 1975 as a female, you are likely going to make more money as a teacher. Well, thankfully, as a society, those glass ceilings have been broken, and women have opportunities. There are more women in law school and medical school today than there are men.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you have fewer people going into education because that reality is no more. People going into education are not making more. They're making markedly less than their peers. And that is clearly a driving factor in the teacher shortage.
Which brings us to this last legislative session. They had money all over the place, right? Everybody was happy in Baton Rouge. They gave the teachers $1,500 or whatever it was.
One time.
And again, and I'm sure anybody that's happy for that.
Yeah.
But it seems like we might have had a chance to maybe do what we always talk about, getting to that Southern average.
I know that there are things about the state budget that I don't understand and don't pretend to. So I'm not going to say that I would have done anything different because I don't have all of the information. But I know that as a state, as a parish, we have to commit ourselves to paying our educators more. The path that we're on now in terms of teacher compensation, in my opinion, is unsustainable. We have to start with higher compensation. Are there other factors that play into a teacher shortage? Of course there are. Do we need to give those things attention? Of course we do. But without a competitive compensation package, people won't choose the profession.
Start, right? Yeah,
people won't choose the profession.
No, it's really like you said. I never really thought about those other opportunities. You can't pay like a doctor or a lawyer, but you can pay, better than what's happening right now.
It has to be competitive. It has to be able to survive and raise a family on.
You don't see a time where it's just going to be turn on the TV and there's some teacher out of Washington, D.C. that's teaching all the second graders across America.
If COVID taught me anything, it's that nothing can replace the value of in-person learning with a high-quality teacher in real-life class. All of the things we learned about Zooming and Google Classrooms and all of the stuff that we do virtually, it can augment and provide services when you can't do it any other way, but it certainly doesn't replace in-person learning.
Yeah, we learned a lot, right? I think that was the impression. Oh yeah, we'll just turn it on, everybody will e-learn. But I think everybody saw from scores across America that it's not the same.
Yeah, and
it helps, but it's not the same.
And for some students, it's not an impact at all, right? In my own experience, anecdotally, without having done a whole lot of research, I would say that if you're a chemistry student in high school and you can Zoom into your class and get the lesson and stay attentive, it probably won't impact you that much. Teaching a first grader how to read through a Chromebook is a whole different animal. And so that's where I don't see us transitioning to that.
Probably a reverse pyramid from that. Probably at the highest level in college or something, you could do that. But at the lowest level, you definitely need
that is correct.
And I agree. And we ought to pay everybody at a rate. It's supply and demand, right? We have a shortage. The supply ought to go up.
It should result in increased compensation.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm optimistic that better days are coming for teacher pay, and I will certainly be fighting for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the school year as you look forward, right? So hopefully, let's just act like we didn't have a hurricane.
Yeah. So
what are we doing this year?
Look, 1 year ago, I was asked this question by a few folks in the media. What are you looking for? Man, we're just looking for a very normal year.
Right.
COVID
It's
is on
after
a,
2 years.
COVID is on a downswing. We've got a wonderful initiative to start the school year, return to pep rallies and open houses and all of those things that connect people to schools. And then we get hit with the biggest hurricane in my lifetime.
Right.
So I'll answer the question the way I answered it last year. We're looking forward to a very normal school year. But I was with some principals this morning. In fact, half of our district's principals this morning for a training relative to the teacher evaluation system, how we give teachers feedback, what we're going to focus on, and how we're going to support them to be extremely highly effective teachers. And the message I left with those principals, or I hope I left with those principals, is that we're going to focus heavily on having student experiences that are as rich as possible, doing all of the things that we know work with kids to connect them to schools, promoting activities that we haven't been able to do. And while it may seem like COVID is a distant memory, the truth is that it was just January that we had more than 2,000 kids quarantining because of our COVID protocols. That has a tremendous impact on not only their learning, but their social and emotional well-being. So we want to return to normal. We're going to get sick of hearing the word normal, I'm sure.
Right.
And
hope we do.
I'm very optimistic and hopeful that we have a very quiet storm season, that our temporary roofs withstand whatever Mother Nature throws at it, so that as we close the chapter in this hurricane season, we haven't lost too much instructional time, and our kids, as important, have had all of the experiences that we want them to have: football games, basketball games, pep rallies. Something that may seem trivial, pre-K and kinder graduations. So many things that COVID and the hurricane interrupted that we want to return to. Our families have come to expect it. We want to return to that. And so that's our focus.
Yeah, you got kids going to fourth grade, hadn't had a normal year yet.
That is correct.
You know, it's amazing.
I haven't had a normal year as a superintendent.
You took office about 2 days before we quarantined. So, it's nuts. What about morale? You know, and that's a big part of it, right? Getting everybody rallied, getting everybody excited about what's going to work. Is the morale seem there from your employees?
Our employees need a break. Our employees are exhausted. Our employees in the South Lafourche region that did summer school this summer, they're going to need a couple of weeks to recharge their batteries. But I know the professionals that they are. And come August 5th, when we open our doors to our students, I know that they're going to be greeted with confetti, like the party it's going to be when we open our schools back up.
Yeah, no, I think so. And like I say, hopefully it all kind of goes together. I guess one other thing we need to touch on is just security, you know. And,
Absolutely.
And we just certainly don't need to add anything like that.
No, but I'm very proud of the work that Lafourche Parish has done. Prior to me being a part of it, I was a principal when this began. But the people of Lafourche Parish have adopted a plan to dedicate a specific millage to safety and the hardening of schools. And so what you'll see throughout Lafourche Parish, save for the 2 or 3 schools that we still have left to complete, and that work is being done as we speak, we have hardened fences and all of our doorways, and we have ballistic rated glass and doors at single points of entry for all of our campuses. And so we're proud of that work. We're proud to have 16 school resource officers as part of our district. So all of our schools have a police officer to cover for them. So that at an elementary school, there may not be a deputy there, but there's one within that community. Using Lockport as an example, there's a deputy assigned to the middle school, but the 2 elementary schools are within a couple of hundred yards.
Right.
And so we've got police officers on standby, and we've done, from an architectural standpoint, all that we can do to repel somebody who would want to harm our most treasured and valued resource.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a shame we have to talk about that, but obviously
it's a scary thing.
And I'm glad that you guys are preparing for it and ready for any situation. Well, have a great school year, man.
Thank you.
Let's have a boring school year.
Please.
It's just awesome. And a couple of state championships. That would all be great. Jarod Martin, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back with more Bite Time after this.